Nobody expected the Buffalo Bills to stand on the edge of a new era with so much at risk. They are coming off a season where their offense looked nearly unstoppable, and their franchise quarterback Josh Allen put together another year that left defenders grasping at air. But behind all that highlight reel chaos sits one question nobody is talking about. Could the group protecting Allen be the true key to Buffalo's Super Bowl hopes, or the hidden reason this window might slam shut? Because no matter how big the Bills' dreams get, everything rides on whether their line can stay strong when it matters most. Here's the twist. This isn't just about 5 guys blocking defenders. The Bills have built something rare in the modern NFL. A wall that barely let defenders breathe last year and kept Josh Allen upright in the most ruthless moments. They trusted those linemen to handle monsters off the edge without help, gambling on one-on-one matchups and leaving the running backs to slip out as receivers. Under 10% of their pass plays saw a back stay in to protect. That's not just gutsy, it is almost reckless, and yet it worked. It created a brand of offense no one else could copy, and it might be the best or worst decision they ever made. What nobody's talking about is what happens next. All 9 of their top linemen are back, but keeping a group this healthy for a third straight year is nearly unheard of. So the stakes for Buffalo could not be higher, because if one piece crumbles, the entire dream of Josh Allen reaching another level could collapse. And that is why the next part of this story, the blueprint behind this fearless offensive line, is where things get truly wild. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Bills and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. Buffalo did something last year that turned heads around the league. They trusted their offensive line to hold the fort without a safety net, and the results were almost unbelievable. Josh Allen finished as the least sacked quarterback in the entire NFL, even though Buffalo sent their running backs into routes instead of letting them chip pass rushers. That left Dawkins and Spencer Brown alone on the outside, handling world-class edge rushers with no one coming to help. These linemen didn't just survive, they thrived, protecting an offense that moved the ball at will and made Allen look nearly impossible to stop. It was the kind of gamble that only works when you have absolute faith in the guys up front. This year, Buffalo is running it back with the same core, from Dawkins and Brown to Connor McGovern, David Edwards, and O'Cyrus Torrence. That same starting 5 will once again face the league's best pass rushers without constant double teams or backs hanging around to protect. And here's what makes it even more wild. The Bills expect them to keep up that level of performance week after week, knowing the rest of the offense relies on those 5 holding the line. If even one of them slips, Allen's entire timing and rhythm could vanish in an instant. That is a pressure few lines ever carry. What nobody mentions is how Buffalo's scheme has pushed these linemen to play like no other unit in the NFL. They run a system built on trust and aggression, where every block counts and every assignment is on an island. One false step could wreck the whole play. That risk is exactly why fans need to pay attention to what happens next. Because as the season goes on, the burden on these 5 will only grow heavier, and the next chapter of their story might show whether they truly belong among the NFL's best. What nobody's talking about is how the Buffalo Bills built one of the most unpredictable blocking identities in football. They turned the traditional rules upside down, lining up 6 offensive linemen, mixing in 2 tight ends, and sending their tackles on long, sweeping pulls to bulldoze entire defensive fronts. Opponents never knew if they'd see a quick toss or a power run slicing through the middle. It created a ground attack that felt like a sledgehammer and a scalpel at the same time, leaving defensive coordinators completely off balance. Josh Allen might get the headlines, but this creative blueprint deserves just as much credit for Buffalo's offensive explosions. Aaron Kromer, their offensive line coach, is the mastermind behind all of it. This is a guy whose resume reads like an NFL trophy case, helping build dominant lines in places like New Orleans, Chicago, and the Rams before returning to Buffalo. The way he has shaped these players is no accident. Dawkins has never looked more confident, while Spencer Brown showed he could become a star by holding up alone against the fiercest pass rushers. Kromer's fingerprints are all over every pancake block and every clean pocket. The shocking part is how much faith Buffalo places in this unique style. It is a scheme built to challenge any defense, but also one that lives on a knife's edge. If a single lineman fails to reach his block on one of those long pulls, the entire play collapses. That risk makes every snap electric and every mistake costly. What nobody's talking about is how the Buffalo Bills have quietly built a bench of young linemen who could save their entire season if injuries strike. Alec Anderson showed last year that he can step in as a 6th offensive lineman, or fill any of the interior positions with toughness and technique. Then there's Tylen Grable, who backed up Dawkins and Brown in 2024 and impressed in preseason battles, showing he might be more than just a depth piece one day. These players aren't household names, but they have quietly stacked valuable snaps in practice and training camp, ready to jump in if disaster hits the starting five. Buffalo's offensive line has lived a charmed life for 2 straight years, but nobody wants to talk about how fragile that streak really is. Only one starter missed a single game due to injury across 2 full seasons, a near miracle in a league where collisions happen every play. Spencer Brown was the only one forced to sit out last year, and Ryan Van DeMark stepped up for that single appearance. Beyond that, the starting 5 stayed intact through every snap, every blitz, every defensive twist thrown at them. The problem is the law of averages, because no team can count on perfect health 3 years in a row. The truth is, their young backups, as promising as they look, have barely seen live bullets in real games. Alec Anderson logged about 300 snaps last year, Tylen Grable barely touched the field outside of preseason, and Cedric Van Pran Granger straight out of Georgia. Ryan Vandermark has the most experience of the group, but even he has only a small taste of real starting reps. That lack of live game testing is a dangerous weakness if injuries force Buffalo to shuffle the lineup. When defenders turn up the pressure, unproven players can break down, no matter how confident they seem in practice. This Buffalo offensive line might be the best shield Josh Allen has ever known, but their story is far from finished. The continuity, the power, the rare chemistry among 9 linemen returning together, it all sounds bulletproof until reality hits. In a league where defenders grow faster and stronger every year, no one is truly safe. The contracts, the aging veterans, and the untested backups are all hidden traps waiting to snap if the wrong player goes down. Buffalo has gambled everything on the idea that this group can hold its ground while Allen hunts for a title. And that gamble feels bigger than ever in a season where expectations might be higher than anything Bills fans have seen before. But here's the twist nobody mentions. While the offense looks primed to explode again, the defense will have to match that same standard to keep Buffalo's dream alive. From the pass rush to the secondary, questions about fresh talent stepping in and veterans keeping their edge will be just as critical. Because no matter how powerful Allen's blockers look, championships vanish fast if the other side of the ball cannot deliver. That means Buffalo's window is only as wide as both units can stretch, together, in perfect sync. So what happens if the defensive front cannot slow down rival quarterbacks? Will these linemen sacrifices even matter if the defense can't hold a lead? Drop your take in the comments, because I want to know if you believe this offensive line is truly top 5 or just holding back a ticking time bomb. And while you are here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single breakdown. This is going to be a wild ride, and you do not want to miss what comes next.